Hello and good morning from the beautiful city of Lviv in western Ukraine. I'm visiting here for a few days during wartime, and it is my very first time ever in this country. I'm sticking only to western Ukraine on this trip, but from what I've been told, this is possibly Ukraine's most beautiful city. So in this video, we'll be taking a look at what it's like over here in western Ukraine in 2025. First, we'll take a short walk through Lviv's Old Town and visit a new memorial dedicated to the Heavenly Hundred, people who lost their lives during Ukraine's Revolution of Dignity. From there, we'll head to a nearby park known for its panoramic views and explore an open-air heritage museum that offers a deep dive into Western Ukrainian culture. And of course, I couldn't make this video without highlighting some of the amazing food here. Slava Ukraini, and let's do this! Now I am starting off in the beautiful Rynok or market square here. There is a certain wartime feel here. Throughout the square you'll find plaques commemorating soldiers who were killed during the war, and many of the statues and historical buildings have different types of protective coverings on them. But a very, very beautiful place, dating back at least to the 1200s. The main square here is filled with tons of different businesses. It's very lively. Of course, there is currently a curfew in the city of Lviv, I guess in the whole country of Ukraine, but during the day it looks like this. And over this way here is one side of the city hall building. Now I'm continuing this way, and we can get a little beyond the central part of the old town. So, up the hill here is a monument to the heroes of the Heavenly Hundred who gave their lives during the Ukrainian Revolution of Dignity. Back in 2014, Ukrainians had had enough with a corrupt and dysfunctional Kremlin-backed government, and the people came together, had a popular revolution, and successfully overthrew that Kremlin-backed government, which leads up to the current Russian invasion of Ukraine that's been going on for more than 3 years now. This monument definitely has a very beautiful panorama of Lviv, but it's also a very good place to bring attention to events that led up to the current crisis in Ukraine. Here you can see men and women that lost their lives during the revolution. All of the death dates are either in January or February. Everyday people that imagined a better country, a better life, and probably a better world. And since 2014, well, it's my first time here in Ukraine. I couldn't tell you what it looked like before 2014 or even before 2025, but I can definitely show you what Lviv looks like now. So let's go out and explore this city a little more. And I'm now on my way to a site that's just a little bit out of the older part of the city. But first I'm gonna make a little stop for some good old coffee. If you didn't know about this in Ukraine, they have very nice sweets and good coffee just about everywhere. Дякую. And who doesn't love a cronut? So I'm always happy to get a coffee. But as I'm continuing my walk, a little bit outside of the city center now, you can see there's different types of architecture around, including this more Soviet style here. Very different from what you'll find just a few blocks away, but also with some beauty as well. There are always, in all of the countries that have this kind of housing, nice little garden areas in front, and I suppose a certain communal feel to living there. It's really quite an interesting street to walk down. To the left you can see that building probably predates the Soviet Union. This is definitely Soviet architecture, and then over there is a building that's probably older than those other ones. And people just living their day-to-day lives. And here, the park that I'm heading to. But there's a certain part of the park. Now this is actually not the reason I came to this park, but I just noticed you can walk up this hill, so I'm hoping there's gonna be a view up there. Oh wow. This is a view all out to the other side of Lviv here. And crazy, you can see there's still snow here. It's very warm here today. Over that way is Kyiv, and you could see into the northern part of Ukraine. And also a railway runs through right down over there. And then on the other side of this hill would be Poland. But my view of Poland is a little bit blocked. Still very pretty up here. Hi. But forgetting about Poland, you have a nice glimpse into the old town of Lviv over here. And the little forest atop the hill too. Let's see what my wife has found up there. Ah, okay, a view like earlier, but higher up so you can see more. But it does make it a bit easier to see that big train station, and you can see some oil trains right there and all that kind of stuff. And it looks like I've made it to the very top here. Oh wow.
It's called
Lions Hill. And a very sweeping view of the whole area. But again, this is not my final destination right now today. I'm headed back down to another part of the park. But first I do have to actually make my way back down here. What goes up must come down. It's a little bit steep, so these weren't really the ideal shoes for this. I'll be okay though. Actually, they're working pretty well. I overestimated how steep and slippery it would be. This side's better.
So once I was back down the hill, I made my way to the other side of the park.
A very nice walk through the forest over here in this park. But my reason for coming here is to go to this museum. And when it comes to paying for stuff in Ukraine, it seems like pretty much everything is digitalized, and even with the QR code where you can just pay for something, like they had over at the desk. And they've got little stations like this, for example, for the tickets that I'm going to buy. If you want to pay with your credit card, you just use a machine. Very convenient. 3 tickets. Ah, I bought it right there. Yeah. Sorry. 3 people. Okay, thank you. So here you've basically got all the different ethnic regions. I think when you go in, it's the Lviv region where we are. There's the Boyko ethnic region, Podylia, Palkutia over there, Bukovina. I don't know that much about most of the ethnic regions of Ukraine, so I'm excited to learn something here. And it's really nice how there are markers with everything very clear in English. So basically the Lviv region can be divided further into 3 different parts with different ethnographic features. A Lvovian dog, just kidding. Here's a pottery workshop, but actually it looks like this is actually being used by people to create pottery. And it says this one is Stoyani village, or a replica of it. This is very reminiscent of a place called Shevchenkivskyi in Lithuania. Here's a nice old wooden church. We live in Germany.
Germany?
Yeah. And you from Lviv?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice.
This is old Ukrainian.
Ah, old Ukrainian writing. Okay. What does it mean?
Trinity. Trinity.
Ah, Trinity, Holy Trinity. Okay. Orthodox religion.
Orthodox.
Okay.
Orthodox.
Yeah.
Okay. This is church in
1820.
from Stoyano village.
Yeah.
Одеський district, Lviv region.
Lviv. Okay.
Belfry.
Ah, bell tower.
Beltower.
David.
Roman.
Дякую. Ah, this is nice here. I actually found there's a map that shows you where each region is in the country of Ukraine. So Lviv, where I am here, and now where I'm walking, I'll be entering the Boyko ethnic region. Let's see what's in here. And somehow I'm finding myself in a different, back in the Lviv region. Hello. Well, this place gives you a good idea of lots of different traditional stuff that you find in rural Ukraine. Well, in the Lviv region here, but I'm guessing the whole place is kind of like this. For sale.
Souvenir.
Souvenir, okay. Ah, nice. Традиційні капури. Ah, дякую. So I guess it's a little bit of an open air market, or places where local people come for business opportunities. Some nice music here.
And it turns out that this part of Ukraine is known for a special type of pottery. Luckily, we ran into some English-speaking Ukrainians because otherwise we just would not have been able to understand the exhibitor.
So yeah, this is the original color of this pottery.
Ah, okay. And then it's painted black.
It's not painted, воно не фарбовано, правда?
Ні,
This is
то є натуральна глина.
Yeah, primarily everything was made with this color, but
Okay.
then they discovered this type of, I don't know how this color
Clay.
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 Correct.
This is like Lviv style.
Yes, this is the type of pottery that is made really near Lviv. This is, to bake
The kiln.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
put it inside to heat it and then it comes back, I guess. This is a really complicated.
That's okay. No stress. Don't.
The kind of wood that they put to make it this color. So that's the thing that makes it black. So the fire, there's no fire inside, as I said. It's only the smoke that makes this pottery black.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's not the fire, it's the smoke.
Is
It's
it-
of a specific type of wood that is used for this pottery.
Коричневу прожилку.
Yeah, so if you break this pottery, you will see inside it's brown.
Ah, okay. Don't break it though. It's bad luck. Are you learning this the first time as well?
We were born here, but we didn't know the whole history of this.
Okay.
So this is very interesting for us too.
Cool.
I'm learning some English word for pottery, so
Fun. Are you from Lviv? Or? Oh, nice. You just learn English in school?
yeah, in school, university, everywhere.
Wow, you're good at English.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry for making you translate
I
so
hope you
much.
have a great time here in Lviv, and we go next. Stay safe.
Take care. And they've also got at least one little lake here with some of the traditional fishing type stuff you'd find. And in the summertime, this must be where they have some concerts and other events that require an audience like that. Well, I don't think I'll probably make it to every single region on my little visit here, just because there is some other stuff to see in Lviv, but here is the, I believe it's pronounced Pokutia region. But this house is from, or a replica of one in Verbovets village. There's so many very vivid colors used in everything. Seems like all over Ukraine. And there's a pretty big yard that would accompany this house. Right here you've got a pigsty, and then I didn't know what this word was, koshnitsia. But when I looked it up on Google, it said it's like a corn storehouse. Funny thing is, when I visited a similar place to this over in Lithuania, so geographically not all that far away, there was something very similar to that was actually used for hanging smoked or dried fish. Ah, and over that way there's a windmill. And I'm not really sure how accurate this is, but somehow for me, a windmill like this is very emblematic of the country of Ukraine. A very beautiful wooden windmill. And it's quickly into another region of Ukraine. Here's a well, and everything else. And it looks like some kind of older tractor type thing over here. Huh, I really can't read Cyrillic, but let's see. Thresher it translates to. And over here, yet another church. Not quite the same as the others, but still made out of wood and still giving off that village feeling. So definitely each region of Ukraine has a distinct identity with architectural differences and all of that kind of stuff. But at some point, if you're not super into the topic, you might find more similarities than differences. But let's take a peek right inside this last church before closing time comes and before it's time for me to head off to another place in Lviv. One thing that's always really struck me about all different types of Orthodox churches is the amount of gold everywhere. It's kind of impressive in its own way. I mean, of course, in like a Catholic church, even in a mosque or synagogue, you'll have some gold. But the way it's used in Orthodox churches is just kind of unique. It's kind of interesting to walk into one. And they do often have a really nice smell from whatever kind of incense the priests burn inside. But I think my time here is done. So let's head back and maybe track down some food. I'm getting pretty hungry. And to get around Lviv, there are a ton of modes of transport here, and you've got rideshare apps like Bolt and Uber.
So we made our way back through the old town and its beautiful cobblestone streets. But we kept going, entering a part of the city I hadn't visited yet.
And since you can actually eat in an old citadel here, I thought I'd take the ride across town to check that out. This is the Citadel Inn. It's a hotel and resort, but they've also got what's supposed to be one of the best restaurants in town.
Unfortunately for me, someone booked the whole restaurant for a party, but the kitchen was more than happy to cook for us, and we just had to sit in the cigar lounge. I started off with some freshly squeezed juice, and for the first course, some Ukrainian borscht. There seemed to be dozens of borscht recipes in Lviv alone. The night before, I'd had some borscht with tomato in it, but the Citadel Inn's borscht was much more beady and had a whole rib inside of it. It also came accompanied by some thinly sliced lard, among the usual fixings. Then for the main course, I went for a reinvention of the classic Ukrainian dumpling, vareniki. But instead of the usual potato filling, these were filled with a mix of seafood and the dough was dyed black, most likely using squid ink. Decorated with some caviar, it really felt like I should have rented a suit or something. But what can I say, it was pretty tasty, light but full of seafood flavor. And finally for dessert, it was time for some honey cake. I had it accompanied by some sea buckthorn tea. With all the variety in food though, I'd nearly forgotten that the Citadel Inn is also known for its views.
Third. Okay. Thank you. And the Citadel Inn over here is, of course, a place to get very nice views of the city. But I've got my priorities. And cake is definitely just above getting a view like this. So all you get to see is what it looks like at night. Come here yourself to Ukraine, to Lviv, and you can see what it's like during the day.
With a few hours before curfew, we made our way back to Lviv Old Town and took a walk down Armenian Street. There's a lot of nightlife in this part of the city, and this street in particular has a really nice vibe. Soon enough, the 12 p.m. curfew had nearly arrived. The next morning, I woke up hungry and made the short walk over to the Grand Cafe Leopolis. It's a historical themed cafe that's within the same building as City Hall, so right in the Rynok Square. The decor is probably best described as eclectic, and throughout there is photo documentation of different events in the history of Lviv. Being one of the first to enter right after opening time, I got to choose my favorite seat. Of course, I started off with a coffee, but this cafe is really known for something that it calls a mercilessly addictive pastry, the Leopolis.
Cake Leopolis.
If you're familiar with the Napoleon cake, let's just say that there are a lot of similarities. Production of the Leopolis cake is said to be strictly regulated, with each cake soaking for exactly 12 hours before becoming ready to eat. They even register every single cake they make in a special book.
Condensed milk?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this cake is not complete without its topping. And even after conquering the Leopolis cake, we still found it in us to eat some more.
And here I am, back in the market square, on my last day in Ukraine. And the sad truth for me is that I've got to leave here in just about an hour and head back over to the Polish border. But you can see I did get lucky with the weather. It was sunny for the past few days, which isn't exactly the norm in the middle of March. But as for what it's like to visit Western Ukraine here in 2025, while there is still ongoing war, well, this was an incredibly welcoming, beautiful place to visit that I recommend to just about anyone. I was fortunate enough to not have to experience any air raid or anything like that while I was here. And there's definitely a certain wartime feel to the place, but more than anything, it's a beautiful city that I'll definitely visit again. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to make sure to give it a like, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one.